of them, and we're young, we're free. Summer's begun, so come run with me. Yeah, we're young, and we're free. It's time to lay us down and go swimming in the sea. 20-something just don't feel right. How the hell can we sleep at night? It's time to kiss our childhood goodbye. We're 20-something, so enjoy the ride.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to 20-somethings. My name's Alyssa, and we're in new groups today, so I'm going to have everybody introduce themselves.
I'm Abby.
I'm Aiden.
I'm Maddie.
Today, we're going to be talking about the Darrell Brooks trial, the new block on Biden's student loan debt forgiveness, and Italy's new Prime Minister, Giorgia Meloni. We're going to start with the Darrell Brooks trial. Brooks was accused of driving his SUV down a Wisconsin parade route late last year and was charged with 6 counts of first-degree intentional homicide. And now the news is back on him. All the attention's back on him. He's had multiple violent outbursts throughout the trial. He's been separated and put into the trial on Zoom and other rooms because of these outbursts. Very interested to hear what you guys have to think about this.
Yeah. So this guy is crazy. He not only had, at one point he had a fort made out of boxes around him, but I think one of the biggest points is that there's kind of a term for this. They're called sovereign citizens, and it's kind of based off of a conspiracy theory that in short, like the government's not the government, kind of, and these people think that they can't be held to the law, and they think like lawyers and stuff are like foreign agents. And he like genuinely is sitting there in the courtroom, like being ridiculous, thinking that like the law can't be applied to him. It's crazy.
Yeah, he was like in this courtroom slamming his fist, staring down the judge. Like the judge like straight up said that she was scared like to be in that courtroom.
I think this dude's definitely got some cojones for representing himself. He's pulling a Ted Bundy, which I admire, frankly. But it's not really doing him just like I don't think he realizes that it's not going to work. I mean, obviously, one, representing yourself, bad idea from the get-go. But two, to be like mean when you're doing it and just calling everybody stupid and being like, this doesn't apply to me. Real bad, just recipe for disaster, in my opinion.
Well, he's trying to like go back on it now. He's trying to act like he didn't waive his right to an attorney or representation. Like that's the most recent thing I saw. And he's like trying to fight the judge about it. And she's like, no, you said you didn't want it. And now that he's kind of realizing, like, as a last resort, he's trying to go back on his word, which is.
But I mean, like, what can you say? The sovereign citizen thing has never, ever worked. Ever. Like, I've seen so many videos of people getting pulled over by cops being like, I'm a sovereign citizen. So how is that going to work in a literal courtroom where nobody cares what you're saying? You just killed 6 people with your car. I don't understand how saying, I'm a sovereign citizen, I can do this, will excuse you.
Yeah, and this dude is crazy. Like he had a previous record as well. It was record of battery towards his ex-girlfriend. And he's like in this courtroom, like trying to intimidate all of his witnesses. Like he's representing himself, scaring the judge. Like, how does he think that he's gonna get away with this or win this? Like, that's insane.
He was telling people to not even call him Mr. Brooks. He's like, don't call me that. That's not my name.
They brought his ex-girlfriend, who he's being charged with like the battery against, in to testify. He brought his own mother in, and all this stuff, just the people he's choosing to have come in and all this stuff against him. I don't know what he thinks he's doing or what he thinks about it is going to work. But I guess we'll see what's going to happen. I know I was just watching some of it live and I had to turn it off because it was hurting my brain. Like, I couldn't do it. On to the next topic. Biden's student loan debt forgiveness. I know one of the groups talked about the forgiveness in general last week, but now there's a temporary block on the idea. There's already been nearly 22 million people that have signed up for it. I know I did. I just got an email too saying that they got the application. They're still processing applications and everything, so they said to keep going with it. They're hoping the block's gonna be over. They said it could be couple days a week, hopefully very soon, as long as it doesn't get pushed further.
Yeah, I heard it's the 6 states that kind of like started this: Arkansas, Missouri, Nebraska, Iowa, Kansas, South Carolina. They filed a lawsuit arguing that the federal relief program would hurt state-based loan companies that manage some federal loans themselves, which I feel like in a way is just like they're protecting like kind of like big companies' money, which shocker, but which I just feel like it sucks because me personally, like, and my mom was saying this too when all this came out that like we were finally gonna like go forward with some student loan relief that Biden was gonna do it. I just feel like it was too good to be true, you know? And then when like a lot of time passed by and it was like the website was up and it like really seemed like it was gonna happen, I was like, oh my God, like, this is gonna be huge. But like always, you know, there's gonna be some sort of thing in the way of it.
Right. And I mean, he did have the best intentions. He did want to help out like these people who have bunch of debt. He wanted to make college cheaper for those like incoming students, but not to get political here, but they did see that it was the Republican led states, those 6 states that filed the lawsuit. It's Republicans that are stopping the program. They don't want this to happen.
I mean, obviously.
I mean, I just think that it's crazy because in a way this is just so beneficial, and I feel like a lot of people don't understand like the amount that we like have to owe for school, which we need to get a job, and like just all the systems in place that like keep poor people from going to college to get jobs to be able to pay debt. And it's like this never ending thing that like a lot of us, like, it seems like we can't even get out of. And this would be so huge, not even just for us. I mean, honestly, more so for people who are out of school, since there was like a cut date on like how far back the loans went, or like, yeah, something like that. Like, I know my next 2 years it doesn't count for, but it just seems like it's so like good for everybody, and it just frustrates me so much that we can't make these like little changes to just help the general public, you know?
It's
still
just-
hold out hope. No, you're
It's-
good.
It's just ridiculous. Yeah, the whole student loan programs, but obviously it comes from education being so expensive. And I genuinely feel that where we are now, you could definitely learn. I mean, obviously, this is not every degree or anything, but you can definitely learn a lot of stuff online for free and without paying, you know, $40,000 a year to prove that you learned it, you know?
Yeah, or the fact that the first 2 years of college are just like high school all over
Yeah,
again. You just gotta pay to like relearn stuff you already know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fact with the stigma of like, oh, you need to go to college, you need to do this, you need to do that, it makes it so hard, and it's getting more and more expensive as the years go on, and it's almost becoming impossible for a lot of people. I'm personally still holding out hope though. I read something that 2 things can happen in the upcoming weeks once the decision's made. Either the court can issue an injunction and the pause will just last longer, or it'll dismiss the case and the program will carry on. So it's not necessarily just going to come to a halt right away. Hopefully it's the second one on that one and that it'll just carry on, because I know I could use it. I know we could all use it. But that brings us to our last topic, Giorgia Meloni, Italy's new prime minister. She's the first female prime minister. She was sworn in on Saturday. She heads an alliance for far right and center parties. Her values that she was kind of going in on and what she built it on was a promise to block migrant ships and support for traditional family values and anti-LGBTQ themes. So I know a lot of people, plus people that she's worked with in the past, it's kind of worrying a lot of people. I know I'm personally worried about that, so I'm interested to see what you guys think on that.
You wanna start, Maddie?
Yeah. So I was doing a bit of research on her, and I found that like in her past, she joined and became leaders of a lot of neo-fascist political parties and different groups like that. So obviously she's not a very great person. She is, supports the Nazism, and not only that, but she is, opposed to abortion and, like you said, the same-sex marriage, LGBT parenting. She's just like showing these conservative right-wing values that a lot of people are nervous about.
Yeah. And I feel like in this day and age where we're all so connected with social media, you can't even really like turn your back to it and be like, oh, well, it's Italy's problem, because I just feel like we're already like having a little bit of all that here and it's terrifying. But like at least currently kind of our president doesn't stand for that. Like I can't even imagine being someone who's homosexual or like needs an abortion or anything in Italy right now. Like I can just like I feel that fear and it's just so terrible that I know that like I'll be seeing all about it and watching it go through. And I'm not entirely sure on how like Italy's government works or what needs to happen in order to like maybe get like what impeach her. I don't know. But hopefully all the things that she stands for don't end up being put into place, Aiden, you want to say anything?
I think I don't really know much about her. I think my thing about is whenever somebody is elected is I think everybody jumps to conclusions really quickly and is like, oh my god, it's the end of the world, and then it kind of ends up being fine, like for the most part. So I don't know any of her policies, so I'm coming at this with a little bit of ignorance, but I feel like if this is following past trends, that people's reaction to her might be somewhat of an overreaction a little bit.
I mean, I
Yeah.
feel like putting anyone like that on like a big platform is dangerous
Yeah.
in and of itself. And I know I read that she's working really hard to like get involved with the youth of Italy, like a bunch of uh like the next generation of voters and stuff. Like she's kind of planning ahead, like trying to plant seeds in the minds of the people who are going to be continuously voting, which is dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
And it's valid to say like it might be an overreaction, but also like it's not like it's so bad to prepare for the worst,
Yeah.
considering she is racist, she is homophobic, she's against abortion. It's valid for these people to have this anxiety because now this person in power wants to take away basic human rights of these people. But again, we don't know. Like Abby said, I'm not very familiar with how Italy's systems work. So I don't know if she has the power to just come in and take away all these laws, but that's the type of thing I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
I mean, I feel like just the fact that she was able to get elected shows that there is a big enough majority in Italy that likes what she stands for. Maybe it was another like kind of silent majority thing that kind of happened here. But just anyone who could come and have a platform of just like hate and then win on that, I think it's very scary to think about.
Yeah, that's terrifying. And
Yeah.
I am scared for the future of society.
Yeah, no, the fact that those were what she was basing her entire campaign on and it was built around those beliefs and she was still elected is honestly terrifying, like you guys were saying. Hopefully, this is just somewhat of an overreaction and something turns around or someone in her party somehow convinces her to flip the other way and something good comes out of it for Italy's sake and for everyone's sake for whatever can happen. But that's all the time we have for tonight. Thank you guys for watching.
Yes, bye everybody.